The Transformative Household Methodology, or THM, is a tool and facilitated activity that aims to create awareness of gender relations between women, men, girls, and boys in households. THM identifies the different roles and responsibilities of household members, their access to and control over resources, and their related benefits. This tool has proven to be particularly effective in rural agricultural settings, as it is based on participatory dialogues that use images and whose topics can be easily understood by all household members. THM was developed by Sendakau Ethiopia in 2009 and was adapted and promoted through Feed the Future Ethiopia Value Chain activity funded by the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID. In this video, a community facilitator will conduct a THM exercise with a group of participants. At the end of the activity, participants will be aware of gender relations at the household level, be able to identify roles and responsibilities related to household workloads, be able to identify who has access to, control over, and benefits from different resources in the home, better understand harmonious living in the household including well-being, health, and education, and create an action plan for themselves to narrow the identified gaps. Facilitators in this video will use THM activity kits developed through the Ethiopia Value Chain activity. However, the activity can also be done using locally available materials. Sticks or rope may be used to make the grid, and stones or beans can be used as the pebbles. When using local materials, different colored cards or paper with marker or pen will be needed to label each grid row and column. The facilitator should do the following steps when conducting THM. Step 1. Identify your group or family. We recommend at least 4 volunteers. When conducting with a family, volunteers could include the head of household, the mother, father, and any children. The volunteers should sit in a semicircle and ensure they can see the THM activity grid. Note: this activity is best done inside a building, at a home, or under shelter to avoid interruption. Step 2. Demonstrate to the volunteers how to make the THM activity grid and where they can add the pebbles during the exercise. Also include any materials that will be used during the activity, such as family profile and activity cards or papers. Step 3. In the first part of the activity, participants examine household roles and responsibilities. Ask the volunteers to list out activities carried out in the household, such as cooking, fetching water, collecting firewood, caring for children, and on the farm, such as livestock rearing, milking, plowing, and weeding. Next, ask the volunteers to agree on which member of the household is primarily responsible for the first activity. After selecting this member, give them a number from 1 to 10 based on their level of responsibility for this specific activity, with 10 representing the greatest responsibility and 1 representing the least responsibility. Place the number of pebbles on that activity according to their number. For example, if a certain family member was given the number 5 for cooking, place 5 pebbles for them on the grid space for cooking. Repeat the same process until you have done the same for every activity.
ስለምሰራ ያው አባት እንግዲህ ጥጃ እንኳን ከፊት ቆሞ ሊይዝ ስለሚችል አንድ ቢሰጠው
አንድ ነው ጥጃ ነው የሚይዘው እሱ እንደውም አልፎ አልፎ
ስለዚህ ሴቷ ልጅ 4 አላት
እሷ ነች የምትወስደው እሱ 4 ለአራት
ለእናት ያንሳል አንድ ይጨመርና ለሴቷ ልጅ 3 ይበቃል እሺ ምን ትላላችሁ ወይዘሮ አስቴር እንደዛ ያሉ ነው
አንቃወምም በርግጥ ብዙ እሷ እንግዲህ ሰራው
ስላልደረሰ ሴቷ ልጅ ብዙን ጊዜ ጫናው እናቷ ላይ ነው የሚያርፈው ስለዚህ
ወደ እኔ ይምጣ ነው የምትለው አንቃወምም
ለእናት 5 መሆን አለበት
አንቃወምም
ለእናት አንዱ ይጨመርና ለሷ 3
ይሁን
አሁን ምን እናደርግበት ጊዜ ነው ማለት ነው ውጤቱን የምንደምርበት ጊዜ ነው ማለት ነው ወንድ ልጁ የእናቱን ይቆጥራል ሴት ልጅ የአባቷን ትቆጥራለች
የእናት ውጤት 53
የእናት ውጤት 53 የአባት ውጤት 41
Step 4. In the second part of the activity, Participants examine access to resources and decision-making power. Ask the volunteers to identify household resources such as money, transportation, land, and others. Ask which household members have access to and control over those resources. Note: all family members will likely have some form of access to each resource.
መሬት አለ ከብቶችን ማስተዳደር አለ እንዲሁም ትልልቅ የቤት ዕቃዎችን ማስተዳደር አለ
Next, ask the volunteers to assign a number from 1 to 10 for each member on their decision-making power and access to the first resource, with 10 being the greatest access and decision-making and 1 being the least. Then place the number of pebbles according to their number directly in front of them. For example, if the father has number 8 for access and decision-making to money, place 8 pebbles directly in front of the father. Repeat the same step for each identified resource.
እኔ ቃውን ለመምረጥ ነው መከተለው ስለዚህ 3 ይበቃኛል
3
ገንዘብ አልነካም ያለች እኮ ነው
አሁን 2 ነጥብ ይቀረናል ያንን ነጥብ ለማን እንስ
አንድ እንሰጣቸዋለን ምክንያቱም
ልጆቻችን ቢፌ ይገዛል
እንደዚህ ገዛል ቃም ስለሚጠይቁ ምርጫቸው
ስለዚህ አንድ
ምኞታቸው ውስጥ አለ ስላለ
Step 5. After the volunteers have agreed on the placement of the pebbles, announce the final results of each family member and then open up space for discussion and reflection.
እሺ እንግዲህ በሁለቱም ጨዋታ ውጤቱን አይተናል በመጀመሪያው ጨዋታ ከፍተኛው የሥራ ጫና እናትየው ላይ ወደቀ አይተናል በሁለተኛው ደግሞ ምንድነው ያየነው የገንዘብ አስተዳደር ላይ ወይንም ውሳኔ ሰጪነት ላይ ከፍተኛውን ድርሻ የሚወስደው አባት ነው
Suggested discussion questions include: what did you learn? Why do women or men or adults or children do certain activities? Why not the other way around? Who has more access to and control over resources and benefits, and why? What effects might the current situation have on the family in terms of income, health, education, productivity, etc.?
ካሁን በፊት የነበረን ደካማ ጎናችንን በደንብ ያየንበት ነው በውሳኔ ሰጪ ላይ ወደ አንድ ቦታ የተጠቃለለበት በስራ ጫና ደግሞ በባለቤቴ ላይ ኃይለኛ ስራ እንደነበረ
በዚህ ስራ ጫናው በኔ ላይ መሆኑን ስንሰራ ሳይታወቀን እስከዛሬ ኖረናል አሁን ግን ውጤቱን ስናገኘው ለካ ተጎድቻለሁ
Step 6. After the initial discussion, ask for solutions by asking questions such as: what should be done to address these findings? What changes do you want to make in your own household? Note: volunteers should take the lead and suggest action items. The action plan can vary from household to household, and that is acceptable.
ከዚህ በኋላ እንግዲህ እየተመካከርን ያለነው አሁን ልጆቹም ባለቤቴም የሥራ ጫናውን እሷ እንጀራ የምትጋግር ከሆነ እኔ ቤት እንደምናጸዳ ሌሎችም ነገሮች መረዳዳት እንዳለብን እቅድ አቀደን ወደፊት ልንሰራ ነው የተዘጋጀን ያለነው ስለዚህ የቤተሰብ ትብብሩን ወደ አንድ ነገር አምጥተን መረዳዳት እንዳለብን
Facilitators should help develop their plans, but they should come from the individuals and families participating in the activity.
ልጆቼም አባታቸው ስር ያዩ እየረዱኝ ስለሚሄዱ እኔ ረፍት ያገኘው ሄዳለሁ
The facilitator should avoid imposing any solutions. Close the THM exercise by asking the volunteers to share their action plan with all members of their family and start doing the actions to change their personal situation.
መተጋገዝ እንዳለብን መተዛዘን እንዳለብን በደንብ ያሳየን ድርጅት መሆኑን
ባለው ቀጫጭን እንጨት ባለው ጠጠር በቆሎም ይሁን ባቄላ ቆጥረን እንደዚህ እናስተምራለን ብዬ አቅዳለሁ
ይሄን ሰልጣና ከወሰድን በኋላ ወንድሜ ይረዳኛ ተራርተን እንሰራ
ዳትና ጥቅማችንን ላወቅንበትም ትምርት ለሰጠንም ድርጅት ምስጋና ያቀርብኩኝ
ይሄ ጨዋታን ብቻ አይደለም እያንዳንዳችን ስንተከብረው ውጤታማ የሆነ በውስጣችን መነሳሳትን የሚፈጥር ነው አይደለ ተጫውተን ብቻ ይሄን ያህል ነጥብ ብለን አልተውንም ወደ የራሳችን ስንወስደው አሁን ወደ ቤታችሁ ከተመለሳችሁ በኋላ ይሄንን የተማራችሁትን ከቤተሰቦቻችሁ ጋር ሆናችሁ በአካባቢ ባለ በገመድ በእንጨት በኮባ እንዲሁ ጠጠር ባቄላ የተለያየ ነገር በመጠቀም ይሄንን ለጎረቤቶቻችሁም እንድታስተምሩ የተሻለ እሳቤን አግኝታችሁ የችግሮቻችሁን አይታችሁ ለውጥን ለማምጣት ደግሞ መንገድ ጀምራችሁ ልክ እንደነ አቶ ታሪኩ ቤተሰብ ደግመን እንደምንገናኝ አምናለሁ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ